And we are here with episode 158 with U.S. Special Forces operator and American hero Joseph Ted-Eye. And
What up?
we were just talking about Kamala Harris, and I was telling you about all the memes on the Donald, and you were shitting your pants. It's
Oh, dude. Well, let me give a shout out to the Donald. All right, the last bastion of free speech in this freaking country. Really? What the fuck, man? I mean, seriously.
Dude, you're right. It's you can't fucking. We were just saying they're booting Trump off Facebook. They're booting
Twitter,
suspending his campaign on Twitter. It's the Donald was kicked off of Reddit, which by the way took $300 million from Tencent, which is 100% owned by the CCP.
You're joking me, dude.
No, I'm not, dude. It's a fucking. They can't take the guns, so they're going for the First Amendment. They're an anaconda.
Oh my god.
They're rapping slowly. It's
dude, the guys. It's so funny. It's like how embarrassing. They've done everything but drop the fucking J-damn on this guy, and he's still. I mean, heaven forbid if he actually had a chance to be the president for a while. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
He's had to fight all this bullshit off even before he was elected.
I know.
It's so embarrassing. And now you've got, Biden's new VP. I mean, wow, imagine that. Never would have expected that one.
88 straight days as of today. What's today? August 12th, 2020?
12.
As of today, 88 straight days of anti-cop protesting. Biden chooses a fucking cop.
Dude, I had her in my top 3 pick.
Really?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was a no-brainer. She was actually my 3rd pick.
Yeah.
And so, that's a no-brainer for him. But you know what, dude? How embarrassing. What was she, the former senator for California? And I think she was the attorney general, too.
Yeah.
But if you look at her policies, dude, do you know that she was looking, and it's online, she's looking for a quote-unquote path for undocumented aliens to come into our country. She wants to make a path, was a word, for her, for those individuals to get into our society.
They are the masters of euphemisms and semantics.
God almighty.
It's a back door for a bunch of illegal immigrants, but it's a path for undocumented workers.
That's what it was, for undocumented, undocumented.
For undocumented workers. And they can only exist when there's no opposition online, which is why, because all their bullshit doesn't work when every person's going, hey, that's not good. So what do? They axe you from all the social media.
Exactly. It's like hitting the block and delete button.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Just keep it perfect.
These people, I don't know what the fuck kind of water they're drinking, but holy shit, man. Dude, wow. Blows me away.
Not well water from God's clean earth. It's a bunch of fucking communists. But
yeah.
Yeah, so
literally.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that in some
like
funny
dude, it's social, it's no joke, sadly.
I mean,
socialism times 10.
No, socialism is just communism light. It's a precursor. Socialism is it's right before the fuking.
But I'll tell you what, hey Tom, I'll tell you what's gonna be funny though. Wait till Biden has got to freaking go toe to toe with Trump in a debate.
He won't. They'll find a way to cancel it.
It's gonna be literally like a freaking kindergartner trying to fight a high school kid. Like it's gonna be grisly ugly for Biden.
I don't think he's going to do it. They're going to find a way to use COVID to not do it. Mark my words. August 12th, 2020.
That's what I'm saying. That'll put the nail in Biden's coffin when he tries to go toe-to-toe with a guy like Trump, who's super polished and just calls it like it is. He's going to look like a fool. Fool.
I mean, as evil as she is, and as much as I hate her, the reality is like Hillary Clinton was a formidable opponent, and Trump beat her.
Now I don't like Hillary Clinton, but she is very well polished.
She's intelligent.
And what does she have? Like 30 some years in the government. She's very, very polished and very smart, and he still hammered her. So yeah, Biden don't have a chance. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell, dude.
I don't think he will. I think they're going to use COVID to say that we can't do debates. They know that.
Dude, what's your thoughts about these mail-in ballots? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, yesterday, or was it 48 hours ago, there were 25,000 fake IDs busted on a shipment from where? China to Michigan.
Come on.
Yep. Wonder what that was for.
25,000?
China ain't making fake IDs for money. They're not stupid. They can make money doing other shit. They're doing it for political
Dude, you
means.
can't even make that shit up.
You can't make
You
that
can't.
shit up. 25,000, dude. Dude, it's August and I still haven't got my stimulus check. I'm sorry, but I'm not fucking banking on the postal service.
Stimulus what?
The stimulus check. Yeah, I never got it. We're in August.
Dude, you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
So I know, this off a totally different path here. I know 7 people that signed up to get the COVID-19 test, right? You go online here, and if you're asymptomatic, you're kind of like at the lower end of the spectrum. They'll get to you, but at a certain time. But anyway, 7 people filled out the form online. They ask you all these questions, and I went and looked at it because I want to get tested too. So, answer all these questions, and then they basically send you a date and time to go to a local place to get tested.
Yep.
I know 7 people that didn't even get tested, okay? 2 days after they filled out their online paperwork, they got a thing back that said that they tested positive. And they never went and got tested.
That's
7.
That's eerie.
7, not 1. And I know these people do. They don't bullshit. 7 people. I talked to Dale about this, and it's like, I don't know how true this is. I've read different things about it, but somebody told me, who supposedly knows, these hospitals that are doing these tests, if somebody tests positive, they're getting $13,000.
13 grand, and if they go on life support for more than I think it's more than 5 minutes, or it might be 5 hours, they get $37,000. That's from Elon Musk. Elon Musk said that on Rogan. You telling me they're in an incentive?
Dude, it's insurance fraud, or I don't know what the hell kind of fraud it is, but it's fucking fraud.
It's a weird gray area, because when you bring up these statistics, people immediately want to lump you into saying like, "Oh, COVID's a hoax." I mean, the virus is very real. That's not.
No, it's very real. Of course,
there are a lot of fucking people dying. My cousin's fiance lost 4 aunts, all in their 50s, to COVID. It's fucking real. The guy who wrote
I get that.
Bomb. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you said it wasn't, but it's being twisted. Just like BLM has been hijacked by a bunch of opportunist Marxist looting.
Well, I call it weaponizing something. They weaponize it.
Absolutely. It's been weaponized for political means. And watch, it's going to be for 2 things. And so Biden doesn't have to debate, because he'll get fucking nailed, and it's going to be for mail-in voting, because that's much easier to fuck with.
Dude, I tell you what, I always said this when I was downrange doing what I used to do.
Uh-huh.
You can hate terrorists, but it's almost like a smart criminal. You can still admire the sneakiness of them, but still want to freaking tune them up. Same with these
enemy.
people.
Yeah.
They have thought this shit through. These are some sneaky, smart people.
Yeah.
They think 10 steps ahead of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's like a chess game. It's like playing chess.
Yeah. Oh, you have to respect your enemy.
Exactly. And they're very smart, but I tell you, it's scary. My prediction about this election, dude, I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to do some kind of recount.
Yeah.
And then that's going to turn into a bigger drama. And dude, you watch, mark my words. It's not going to be a landslide by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to come down to that many votes.
Yeah. It's going to be a doozy. This November.
Oh, dude, this is going to go down in history, man, for sure.
It is. And it's going to be perfectly primed too, because think about it. No March Madness, no sports, no Olympics. It's all been, everyone is primed. So even if you're not paying attention to politics, all other entertainment has been eviscerated. So all eyes are on this shit.
Wow. And I don't know if you know this or not, but we were so North Carolina, Charlotte was supposed to have the Republican convention here, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you heard what happened to that. Our illustrious governor, Cooper, basically said, you know what? Yeah, you can have it here, but you're going to exercise social distancing. So I think they were going to use a facility that held 20,000 people. But then after the social distancing, it would have been 5. So the Republican Party pulled the plug, and I think they're doing it in Florida. I think they're doing it in Jacksonville, Florida. I think that was the last place I heard. But dude, here's the thing that pisses me off. basically what he did is he yanked out about $200 million in revenue to the city of Charlotte that has been hammered by this COVID, and could have put that money right back in, into the small business owners' pockets. But instead of this political bullshit agenda, he decided not to. And so the Republican Party basically said, screw you, we're going to Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, really, is that your fiduciary responsibility to your people?
It's tactical. I mean, it's absolutely, it has political.
Oh, dude, it's disgusting.
I mean, you see it with shit here. I mean, Ocean City, Maryland. It's a summer town. It's a resort town. It's the Panama City for the Upper East Coast. But they got St. Patty's Day canceled like 24 hours beforehand. Which, hey, I get it, the virus.
Right.
But everything else was getting canceled weeks ahead of time, and didn't get canceled till right before. Do you know how much fucking revenue these people lost?
Oh, dude,
thousands of kegs.
Tom, let me tell you something. I drive around now, and it's so sad, man. Like, I see all these little businesses closing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, right down the road from where I live, I think 2 months ago, this guy opened up an RV, selling RVs. He's closed. I mean, just all these little mom and pop shops are just closed, and permanently closed. Not just closed. I mean, you look in the window and they're shut down.
Oh yeah,
and so it's disgusting, man. It really is. This is going to be an election that I have a buddy of mine. I don't want to say his last name, but he's a very good friend of mine. His name's Ryan, and he's very, very smart guy, very educated, very, very smart financially, business-wise, and he's way connected into the Republican. Matter of fact, he's a delegate, and I had a conversation with him the other day, and if we lose, the Republicans lose this election, the damage that can be done in just one term with the people that are lined up right now with Biden, we won't be able to come out of it in our lifetime.
Yeah,
it'll be that much. Dude, there's a bill right now. You can pull it up, go on the government.us. It's a bill that basically says, and I read it, and it's in there with all the other bills, right? Under that stack.
Sure.
That basically says that if you want to buy a gun, any gun, rifle, pistol, shotgun, carbine, anything, you're going to have a federal license to buy it. A federal license.
Fucking.
You can't just go into a fucking gun store and say, I want that shotgun, and walk out. And I understand with pistols and carbines, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm all about, Second Amendment. But I think they could tighten up the law a little bit with carbines and say it's a 3-day wait, just like a pistol. I get it. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah,
you won't be able to buy anything, nothing, unless you get a federal license, which means they will control who owns guns.
And then they want.
It's in there right now.
And then they want chain of ownership.
Ownership, exactly right.
You can track.
Exactly right.
Dude, it's boiling a frog in a pot of water. You put it in when it's boiling, it's going to jump out. You keep it in there, and you just erode gun laws for a century. No one notices. That's
exactly what I'm telling people. It's not going to be the big J dam. Boom.
No.
It's going to be a little bite. Yeah, a little bite. Exactly right.
Just picking.
Oh, and by the way, now you have to pay a tax on ammo of 300%. That was another thing that they're talking about. It's taxing the shit out of ammo.
Yeah. Don't forget in 2014 when the Department of Homeland Security bought up 1 billion rounds of ammunition.
That's right. Yeah.
That 30
remember
year
that?
Supply. Yeah, I remember the title. 30-year supply for a 30-year hot war.
Yeah. That I remember that distinctly. Yeah.
It's
a shame. There's so many people out there. I have friends of mine, Tom, that they got their heads in the sand. They're like, you know what? Their attitude is, there's nothing I can do about this. I can't change anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can vote. I mean, granted, you can't really do that. A lot of people just live. They live in their bubble.
Defeated.
And it's like, I don't want to know what the hell is going on out there till it's too freaking late.
And then it's at your door.
Then you want to know about it.
Yeah, it's at your door. It's
at your door. Exactly.
I mean, in my short life, I just turned 30, but in my short life, I think the first true example of like knocking at your door I've seen is COVID. So here's an example of, and you can go back and look at episodes of me early on, like, hey, there's a virus in China. What's that? And you can see it over weeks watching the episodes. Like, I don't think it's going to get here. Okay, now it's here. Well, nothing's going to happen. To all of a sudden, it's like,
boom,
quarantined. I can't go outside. There's no toilet paper. And it's like, oh, wow. It's not just on the news. It's real life. There's an objective reality. So one, it's defeatism. I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Two, I don't want to know about it. But three, in 2016, not 27% of the population, because a lot of the population can't vote. You're not old enough. You're a felon.
Right.
27% of the voting age population voted. 73% of eligible voters, fact check me all you want, anyone listening.
You got to be kidding me.
2016 election, 73% of eligible voters did not vote.
73%.
73%. 27% voted for either Clinton
one or the other,
or Trump, and then who's the third guy? The I don't remember, Aleppo guy. It's
yeah.
I don't even remember his name.
Dude, that's staggering. I would have never guessed that.
Isn't that insane? 73% didn't vote. So I don't.
What do you attribute that to? Just being lazy?
Apathy. Whoops. Hold on. My dad's calling. Nope, not now, Dad.
That's God Almighty. Yeah, and you know what? There's gonna be people listening to this, and they're gonna fact check that. That's gonna shock the shit out of people.
Yeah, 73% did not vote. That's
I thought it might have been the other way.
Nope. Not even.
Wow.
Almost 3/4 didn't vote. Almost 3 fucking quarters didn't vote. Hold on, my dad's.
Wow.
That's texting me.
That's dude. That's terrible.
Yeah, and they're already. You can see it starting to prime. They're almost priming the subconscious right now. You can already see all the articles come out. Trump is working with Russia. He's trying to steal the election. Dude, I've seen these in the last 48 hours, and I don't think it's coincidence that, in the last 24 hours we've seen Kamala Harris put on the ticket. 88 straight days of anti-cop, all cops are bastards protests.
Right.
I saw a cop this morning, went for a walk. I made sure to shake his hand and tell him that we all love him. But yeah, fuck yeah.
I did that the other day. I said, brother, you're a better man than I am.
Oh, dude, I said, thank you so much for all you do. I was about to say we got a bunch of fucking communists protesting you, but I realized he had his 6-year-old daughter in the car. So I said, it's the craziest people with the loudest voices. And but it's yeah. So I don't think it's a coincidence that
no.
They're ushering.
I don't believe in coincidences, dude. Not when it comes to the government and this shit. No way. No such thing. No such thing.
No, it's but I mean, you have to, like we said, you have to respect your enemy. You have to don't downplay them as stupid. They know what they're doing.
And dude, you saw a few weeks ago, I think it was what did it say, the 12th? And I don't get my dates right here. Don't hold me to them, but I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, George Soros donated wrote a check to Black Lives Matter. $200 million.
You can't make this shit up.
Now, where do you think that freaking money is actually going to go?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not going to grassroots movement.
Dude, it's not going to help that organization one bit.
No, it's
$200 million. No shit. I think it was 220. He split it up kind of like in some different things, but that's where it went. Yeah. But it was like $220 million the guy wrote a check for.
Motherfucker. Yeah, it's
and people want to know what the fuck's wrong with this country. Like,
you have to
it's disgusting, dude. It's disgusting.
You have to respect respect your enemy. I'm gonna use that to segue into loan operator. Yeah, sneaky. But
what do you think about it, dude? Be honest. What'd you think?
Can I read my review?
Oh yeah, dude, let me hear it. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, let me hear it.
yeah. No, I emailed it. Let me read it. Because I legitimately fucking enjoyed it. And I'm not just
thanks, man.
Not just kissing your ass. Hey man, I liked your book. No.
Yeah, don't be doing that. Give me. Well, dude, the only way I'm gonna get better if I write another book is having good criticism. And I mean,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm totally down for that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. No, you said that in your book.
And Liam did help me a lot. Yeah. My Liam, the guy, helped me write the book. Yeah. I basically put it on paper, and he kind of tightened it up for me. He's like, "Hey, Joe, you've got gaps here.
That's what
you're gonna lose people here." You know what I mean? So I can't take all the credit. Yeah. He helped me.
I mean, dude, unless that's what you do for a living, being an author, that's what everyone.
Dude,
No one
I got
writes.
C's and D's in English, brother. Like,
Dude,
really?
I
You
still
know,
don't know how to use
some
it.
fucking slack here.
Yeah, here. So this is because what got me thinking about the review is I remember listening to Andy Stump, the guy from SEAL Team 6 that's been on Rogan, and he talks
Oh,
about.
I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah. And he talks. Rogan's like, "What do you think about like books?" And he goes, "There are some very good like former special forces books out there." He's like, "There's some very good ones." He goes, "A lot of them are money grabs," and he goes, "And I get it." He goes, "You're making this much in the military, and then a publisher comes along and says you can make this much." You go, "Oh, holy shit!"
Right.
He goes, "A lot of them are shit." He goes, "But if you can wait in between there, because there's a lot of gold in there." So
Right.
so my completely uncensored review. It's about 30 seconds to read. Books by former Special Forces commandos often fall face first into the, quote, dime a dozen category, seemingly all splintered off from the same amalgamation of the alpha male, the glory hound, the knee-deep in grenade pin monolith that has been constructed by both the authors and the audience over the decades. Lone Operator, however, is full of unbridled heart, humorous self-deprecation, and clinically objective diagnoses, all of which are permeated by the same innocent and loving soul that we can all identify with. That is, I am trying my best, I am scared, but I'm willing to improve. It's just that. It's the same scared, idyllic, imaginative, rail-thin kid that we all are or were at one time. My story is that of an academic and social butterfly. Yours may be of an engineer or a doctor or poet. Ted Eyes is that of a Tier 1 operator working in a ghostly unit that recruits from Delta Force, DevGru, and others that legally cannot be acknowledged. Ted Eye makes clear the importance of the warrior mindset and how said mental framework is applicable not just downrange in denied territories, but in the cubicle, the huddle, the canvas, and the cash register. It's a guidebook to know how to eviscerate all obstacles in your path and to put you in a position to then help others overcome their own highly personal hurdles. Ted-Eye takes the experience acquired from the truest examples of real-life black ops and plausible deniability and brings them back to anyone willing to listen. Indeed, from Joe Ted-Eye to the average Joe, the lone operator makes sure you never operate alone.
Wow, dude.
I gave it 5 stars.
No, dude, I appreciate it. It's very nice. One little thing, and I want to make sure people listening to this don't get this wrong. So I never served in Delta, and I never served in SEAL Team 6.
That's why I said from those and others.
Yeah, and so I'm not what you would call a Tier 1 military guy because I never came to those units. Now, I can't tell you the unit I was in, but if you Google it, now they're calling it a special mission unit. If you go on Wikipedia and these other people are calling it, I don't know when that started or if it's true. I don't give a fuck. About titles, right? Yeah. I don't give a fuck, okay? Yeah. I know what unit I was in. I know what I did. Yes, it was black as black ops as you can get. But is it a Tier 1 unit? It's not considered a Tier 1 unit where I came from. It was a unit that handpicked guys out of Tier 1 units. Well, yeah. So I don't want anybody to get their panties in a wad and you know what? Get the sand out of your clit. All right, mark your fucking ego. Okay, and yeah, I hate guys like that.
Let's be clear. Those were my words. I said, but that's also. I never knew who I had never watched. I live under a cultural rock. I had never watched Dual Survival. The first time I had Dale on, Dale called me the next day, said, "Hey, I want to do one with my buddy Joe." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he described you as a fellow Tier 1 operator. So that's from Dale, the OG.
I got you.
So
I get it. I just want to understand. Yeah. I get it. I don't look. I'm not trying to fluff my background. I'm a First Recon Marine. I'm a Green Beret, and I was in a government. And dude, straight up, when I wrote my book, okay, so I had to contact my old work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and so because of what I did, and they were very, very explicit, okay, from their legal people. And I said, what can I say? And I got the email right on my computer. How do I describe the unit I was in? And the exact verbiage was a government special mission unit, counter-terrorist unit.
Yep.
That was straight from their legal people.
Yeah, it's
not my words, their words.
It's
like, hold on, let me say it again. See my lips look. Not my words, their words.
Yeah. No,
because you're gonna have those people out there with the big chip on their shoulder. Park your fucking egos, okay?
Yeah. It's
not my words, theirs. So I had to be very, very cognizant of what I said in the book, there's a disclaimer in the beginning that says these stories are on true events, but I changed the dates, names, places, all of that. And you know what, Tom? I only really talk about one chapter that I actually get into a mission because everybody asks me, like, what was the scariest you've ever been in your life? And everybody thinks that because of what I used to do for a living, it was a big gunfight. Well, it wasn't. As a matter of fact, the scariest I've ever been, if you read my book, it was on a real world escape and evasion where me and another guy got compromised. And there was no shooting going on. There was nothing. It was very late at night, and I was looking at the stars, and I'm not going to get into the details of it. Read the damn book if you want to know. There was no shooting. There was no screaming. There was no yelling. It was a suggestion from a guy that I was working with about our situation. He's like, I suggest you do this. And when I didn't really, at the time, I was so strung out, Tom. I was so tired because we were up for 77 hours, and it was right towards the end of it. So you're kind of like out of it anyway, right?
Yeah.
We had run out of water. I mean, it was supposed to be an in and out mission. I ate one power bar. It was gone. The water was gone. So we were in shit state. But it was a suggestion from a guy, former Delta guy. He was in Somalia, been there, done that. His name doesn't matter. I highly respected the guy. And when he said that to me, it didn't sink in. But when we started moving and started walking, I kind of like snapped out of my little fog. And I was like, holy shit. What the fuck did this guy just tell me? You know what I mean? Then it hit me. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is bad. This is really bad. I think you should, I don't want to spoil it. I think you should explain what it was to the listeners, because it doesn't, you need to read the book, but I think you should explain that, because I think that's a good hook. That pulls the gravity. So, okay. So then, short, long version compressed. Very. I was downrange, and it was probably like my third or fourth rotation, and we got a call that there was a target that we had been looking for. They located him. It was in the daytime, and it was what's called a TST mission, time-sensitive target. He was only going to be at this location for a very, very short period of time. So they basically wanted drop a JDAM on this dude and be done with it, but they needed someone to do a battle damage assessment. Yeah. So we weren't going to bring any of our Afghan counterparts. It was just going to be me and this other guy. We were going to go. We were going to drop in 2 train features away, just boop, boop, get in there, watch the airstrike, do a battle damage assessment, and split. Dude, it's pretty simple. Nothing sexy about it at all. Well, it didn't even get to that point, dude. And to this day, we don't even know what happened, but it was a daylight infill. And we flew in on an Mi-17, which is a big-ass freaking Russian helicopter. It makes a lot of noise. Somebody must have saw us. We don't know, but we didn't get very far. And it turned into a, long story short, basically a running gun battle for 77 hours. We were kitted out very light. I had 4 mags on my kit, 1 in a gun. Didn't even have a pistol. Had a bottle of water, power bar. I mean, very, very lightweight. It was no nods, no nothing, right? Just bing, bing. It was going to be like 2 or 3 hours, and that's it, right? And so didn't happen that way. So anyway, we for 77 hours, we were running around in the Hindu Kush Mountains. And what was really funny, Tom, is when we got back, we basically had what were called Blue Force trackers with us that shows, you know, where you're moving. It's basically like a GPS. And you can look on a screen back at the FOB like, okay, you guys went from here to here. So of course, and I talk about this in the book, you know, we had our escape and evasion plan, but you could have wiped your ass with the fucking thing because everywhere we went, we were getting cut off. So if you looked at our Blue Force tracker stuff, it wasn't like a straight line. Like it was like, yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was, and you looked at it and you're like, wow, that didn't work out very well. But anyway, long story short, it got to a point towards the last day. The guy I was with asked me, and it was at night. He said, "Hey, how much ammo do you have left?" And I said, "I got 1 mag." And he's like, no, like how many exactly? And so I took my mag out of my gun. I stripped off like 7 rounds. I said, I got like 8 rounds left. It was 7 or 8 rounds. And he very calmly, he wasn't like screaming and yelling. And he was just like talking to you. Like, he's like, hey, I'd put one of those in your pocket. And I did, and didn't even realize. I remember stripping off the round and just sticking it in my BDU pocket and not really registering why he said it. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was tired.
Yeah.
Tired, I'd been up for, a long time, and we were dehydrated, hungry. I mean, we were smoked. But I did it. And so once we started moving, we were huddled behind these rocks. When we started moving, I kind of like snapped out of it, instead of like sitting there, like when you're really tired, you're kind of like,
yeah.
We started moving. I kind of woke up and I'm like, oh shit. Like, it kind of dawned on me why he said to put one in my pocket. And basically it's like, we're not getting captured.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no fucking way that I am going to be captured by the Taliban. I've watched those videos, and I didn't want to end up on Al Jazeera's Funniest Home Video.
Yeah.
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 And I'll be honest with you, man, everybody, I'm just fucking killing myself. Really? Well, let me tell you something. That's not a decision you're going to make like that.
No.
To be honest with you, if it would have got to that point, I probably would have gone down fighting, dude. I just don't know if I don't know if I could have done it.
It's the end.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously it didn't come down to that. We had a guy fly in, and the way we got out was crazy, dude. We were literally at the end of our rope. You can't even make this shit up. We hit this wadi that was huge, dude. There was no getting down it. Like, a lot of them you can kind of like slide down, or they're not high.
Yeah.
This one was like high. If you would have fallen off, you'd have been dead.
Yeah.
It was a huge dried out riverbed. And we were fucked, dude. It was the end of the game. And this dude had flown the bird in and turned it kind of bass backwards to where we were. And the clamshell was off on the back. And anyway, dude, I remember seeing the rotors. It was the scariest thing I ever done, man. Like, I thought, you jump too high, you're going to get hit with the fucking rotor. I mean, if the wind gets it, the bird's going to fly into but we ended up jumping in the back of this thing, and it took off. And I remember when it took off, it banked really hard. And I remember sliding all the way across the fucking floor of this thing and hitting into some of the chairs. My fucking M4 went this way, I went that way. But I remember sitting there after they leveled out and we flew away. And I remember looking over at this dude I was with, and he just had this big shit-eating grin on his face. And he's like, like, what do you think about that? I'm like, that was fucking badass. You know what I mean? Like, you look back, then, and you're like, oh Lord, please let me get out of here. And there's no joking about it. Like, until you get out and you think about what you just did, and you're like, holy shit. Like, okay, check that block. Don't want to do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, and I said it in the book, and I'm going to say it right here. What saved our lives was our physical fitness.
Yeah. Well,
end of story.
Yeah, it has to. It's 77 hours of evade.
Dude, was our physical. Now, I will tell you, I will tell you this. We did drop our plates.
Yeah.
We came, basically, it was like day 2. He said to me, he's like, dude, these plates aren't going to save us. What's going to save us is getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Time and distance. I just remember pulling up the Velcro and boom, dropping out my plates.
Yeah, fuck this
Left
shit.
them right there. Hid them. Actually hit them in these rocks, but that kept because when you wear plates, it doesn't sound heavy until you're walking like in the mountains, right? And it holds heat in. I mean, there was no reason. It wasn't going to be, it stopped 2 or 3 rounds, because when these fuckers were shooting at us, the rounds were pinging off rocks. You know what I mean? And those rounds are going to get hit, the ones with your name on it, you're never going to see.
Yeah.
It's those fucked up rounds that hit off rocks and shit that you're going to get hit with.
Yeah.
So it was just like, look, this is the risk reward for carrying the plates now is 0. It's like, let's get rid of these fucking things.
Yeah.
So we did. We dumped them, and that was it. And in my book, there's actually a picture of me sitting. I don't know if you have the book with you or not. Dude, hold up the picture. Can you hold it up?
Hold on.
Go to the page where there's a picture of me sitting on the ramp.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
I don't know if you have it or
No,
not.
no, I can. I turn my phone off because my alarms are ringing off. But I
Oh,
do have, no, I have that screenshotted. I have the picture screenshot.
yeah. So we landed. I'm not gonna tell you where we landed, but anyway, we landed, and the pilot was like, "Hey, man, have like an emergency medical team like meet us at the HLZ. These guys are in pretty bad shape. Blah blah blah. Right?" I'm like, "Oh no, we're good, dude." We're like, "Woohoo!" You know. He's like, "Nah, you guys aren't." So there's a picture of me sitting on the ramp, and another guy that I had worked with, he was actually at the FOB, and he come up to me. He's like, "You all right, dude?" I'm like, "Yeah, I felt better." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's it right there." I looked like fucking 10 miles of rough road, brother. My eyes were so red. It looked like two pistols in a snowbank, man. But anyway, we had lost like 10 pounds apiece, something like that. Severe dehydration. My feet were hamburger, blisters, all that happy horse shit, right? And just wrecked, from not eating. But anyway, my buddy walked up and he was like, sick humor. He's like, "Dude, I got to get a picture for it." He took it, right? And then like after I had left and went back home, and he got back home, he ended up emailing it to me. He's like, "Hey, man, check out this picture I took of you." And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, dude, that was literally right after we landed. And in the actual picture, you can see the pilot laying in the back like this. Like, because, dude, he was taking fire.
Yeah.
When we got extracted, he was taking rounds. And I'll tell you what, in the back of the plane, if you look at the picture again, there's this big yellow fuel tank.
Oh,
it was an extended fuel tank. That's what that was. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Those big bladders.
It was made out of like aluminum or steel, whatever. But anyway, it's an extended fuel tank.
Yeah.
And dude, one round, I mean, you're done. Oh yeah, dude, fireball.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you look at the picture closely, you'll see a few holes in the floor. If you look, oh yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. And yeah, and didn't even know it. Like when we were flying out, like your adrenaline's flowing, dude. Like, rounds came through the bird, didn't even know it. Because. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, scariest time of my life, man. And it wasn't any shooting. It was just this guy telling me, "Hey, put a round in your pocket." And what's crazy is I have that round sitting in my office on the shelf.
Yeah, you said
as a reminder.
Daily, yeah.
Like, man, oh man, things can go really fucking bad. Yeah. Murphy will show up and throw a wrench to the works.
Yeah.
And it happened. And then thank God it never happened again. But I can tell you this, it wasn't often, Tom, that we did daylight hits. I mean, we did, but it wasn't often. But I can tell you, after that, daylight hits, I was like, like,
not doing it.
Last time I did this, it didn't work out well,
Fuck that shit. Dude, that's in bullet holes.
Yeah, but that was a very interesting moment. Yeah, dude, there was a lot of stuff in my book. You actually asked me, what was the other thing you asked me the other day when I lived in Vegas about something?
The PepCon explosion, because because I'm having someone on tomorrow to talk about the Beirut explosion, and that got me thinking about all these big ones, the Tianjin one in China, and the and then it just that weird similarity where because I used to watch that. I love big bombs, and you mentioned it in your book. You're like, I thought it was a tactical nuke, and you're like, it's the petroleum. It's going, and before you even say PepCon, you're spelling out PE, and I was like, I know that explosion, and
yeah. Yeah, dude, did you see that explosion in Beirut, that big-ass explosion that detonated 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this PepCon plant was way out in the middle of nowhere, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, I think they made like rocket fuel or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that thing blew, I was in UNLV at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I was studying for my Series 7 when I was going to become a stockbroker. And I was in a classroom, and it blew up twice. The first explosion sounded kind of muffled, and I was like, "What? What was that?" And like everybody was like, "Wow!" And people were kind of like looking out the window, and you could tell it was pretty far away. But when that thing blew, and there's a video of the second explosion when the tanks actually detonated, dude. It literally knocked down the false ceiling in the classroom. The board fell out. The concussion. It was. Dude, I ran outside. I'm like, all right, somebody just dropped a fucking nuke, like straight up on Vegas.
Yeah.
That's how loud it was, and the concussion of it. And it was miles away.
Yeah.
Miles. They said there was a plane coming on final that the shockwave hit it, and they had to veer off because the shockwave kind of fucked up the landing. It caved in garage doors 5 miles away.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no shit, dude. It was crazy. There was people panicking, like running around like ants. Like nobody knew what happened. And what was crazy, Tom, is it only killed a handful of people because I think it blew up during lunch or something.
Yeah.
Where the plant was kind of empty at the time. I may be wrong. I just remember reading something like that. But it was gone. Like when you see that thing blow up, it's like a nuke went off.
It looks like I mean, minus the flash, it looks like a tactical nuke test.
Oh, dude. I'm telling you, it rocked the whole building and the freaking false ceiling started falling. It was crazy.
I watched a documentary on that years ago. It's something that I am like familiar with, and I've seen them. And there's police officers who are like a mile away. They were like thrown 20 feet into their squad car.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that. Now, I will tell you, when I was in Iraq, my first tour, I only went to Iraq one time with the unit I was in once, and then all my other tours were in Afghanistan. But anyway, we were staying in this hotel in the Karada district, which was kind of like the shittiest part of Baghdad, at this hotel that all the Westerners stayed at. You might as well they should have just put an American flag on the fucking roof and said, hey, come fucking kill us all.
We're here, yeah.
Yeah, we're here, right? So I remember, and I actually have video of this, a car bomb, or it wasn't even a car bomb, it was a truck bomb, went off at a checkpoint. And I would probably say it was 2 miles away from where we were staying. But when that sumbitch went off, it was the same thing. The whole freaking building shook. So we jumped in our freaking Hiluxes and drove down. You could see where the smoke plume was. And they found the engine block. I found out later, the engine block of the truck a half a mile away on the roof of the building.
On the roof?
Yes.
Fuck.
I can't remember. It made the news. It was like one of the largest truck bombs that went off. I can't remember how many, like 1,000 pounds or 5,000 pounds of explosives, but I got a picture of the crater and everything, dude. It was huge. It was probably 30 feet or 40 foot wide and like maybe 5 or 6 feet deep in the asphalt.
Jesus.
And yeah, dude, it was, I got really, I've never posted it because it was really graphic. Like,
yeah,
all the vehicles around it were just incinerated. There were people in the vehicles just burnt to a crisp. But,
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, when that sumbitch went off, they found the engine block, like they said, on the roof of a building, like a half a mile away. So,
Jesus Christ.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit.
Jesus. I'm having on an explosives expert tomorrow to talk about the Beirut explosion.
Oh, dude, that's going to be great. Yeah. I mean, Dale would be a really good guy to ask, too, because Dale's really good at, all that stuff. And I mean, this guy's probably getting like the net explosive value and all that crazy. I'm not a demo guy. Yeah, I mean, I know demo, basic demo, but I'm not at that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, when that thing went off, dude, holy Jesus, man. I mean, did you see the one video of the guys in the boat?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it looks like a fucking tactical.
That's what I'm saying. Like the whole sky just went, dude. Yeah.
It's got the fucking mush. There's some scientific name for it, but the vaporization cloud is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what
people did they say that killed.
I don't know. I imagine it's still under wraps.
Well, the last I heard was 100.
Oh,
but 4,000 were injured.
Yeah.
That's staggering because when I saw that thing go off, I'm like, oh my God. That killed an assload of people.
It looked like a Hollywood fucking scene.
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't kill 4,000 people.
I mean, dude, knock on wood, man. I wonder how many people they just haven't found yet. I mean, if you look at the videos, dude, as the shockwave is coming close in slow motion, you just see the facades, the glass, all the stuff, everything just getting vaporized off of it.
And dude, that's what people don't understand. You don't have to be literally blown up. You could be hit by flying glass and debris and the overpressure.
Yeah.
of the actual explosion.
Yeah.
Right. And of course the heat plume and all that stuff. But like the overpressure, that kind of shit is great. I have called in an airstrike before downrange. And I tell you what, man, you far away from that shit, you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can feel that. Yeah, it's
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
depending on how big the bomb is, 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds. But yeah, that was a big explosion, man.
I mean,
I don't know which one was bigger, the Pepcon or that one, but I can just tell you the one that Pepcon. I wish I knew how far away it was, dude. It was out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, if you look
I
at
got
the
the
video,
desert, like there was nothing around it.
yeah, if you look at the video, it's out. It looks like a military test because it's in the
Exactly.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah. If that would have detonated like close to a city, like
Beirut,
dude, it would have fucking leveled like half of Vegas. Yeah.
what the fuck is it with Tianjin and China and Beirut? What's with these stockpiles of like nitrogen perchlorate like downtown? It's a
I was saying, why would you store
20?
I think they said 2,700 tons.
Yeah.
Not 2,700 pounds. 2,700 tons of ammonia nitrate
downtown. What kind of fucking?
Hey, let's just put this shit here in the basement.
Yeah, we'll leave it here. We'll leave it. It's out. We'll leave it
and
here.
And then I guess my question to you is, how did it detonate? Did they even figure out how that happened yet?
No, and that's what I did text Dale. I said, Dale, do you think Beirut was intentional? He hasn't responded, so the plot thickens. But having on the guy tomorrow, who I believe is more of like an energetics expert, so I think it's probably going to be a little more scientific, which I'm so excited about. But yeah, I definitely want to find out more as it goes, because I don't know. With stuff like that, I don't think you can ever 100. Not everything is a conspiracy, but when something is that big and it's downtown, you have to look at it and go, was there anything behind this?
Yeah, dude. Because obviously a fire started because you can see the fire. Yeah. But the whole thing is did somebody start the fire on purpose? But wow, that town's destroyed. And, dude, think about this. I'm not an engineer, but when that thing detonated, there's probably a certain area that every single building that is standing is now structurally compromised.
Oh, yeah, it can't be used.
Do you know what I mean? Where it has to be.
Down. Yeah, they're going to.
Yeah, almost like a building that's been in an earthquake.
Yeah.
It's not structurally sound to be in anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not an engineer, but I can almost guarantee you that. They're going to have to tear down buildings because of that.
Yeah, that is the most insane explosion.
Dude, let me know in that podcast, Darius. I want to listen to what that guy has to say.
Fuck yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow. I said I'd only keep you for 45 minutes. It's been 49 minutes.
So we get diarrhea of the mouth. That's cool.
Yeah. What?
We get diarrhea of the mouth. Anyway.
I thought you said kicking you off. I was like, I'm not kicking you off. Yeah. No, and I had said I had some questions for you about the Christian faith. We'll save that for another.
Go ahead, dude. Far away.
Oh yeah, so I've told Dale this before, and I think Dale's the only person I told on the podcast. And I haven't told other people really until last year. I didn't tell my family. Very long story short, April 15th, 2014, lost my older sibling to suicide. I was down in Georgia. This was in Maryland. I was down in Georgia the night before, and I was with my then girlfriend. And I remember she woke me up because I was sleeping and her head was on my chest, and she woke up. What the fuck? I don't know what just happened. I think Siri is listening to my. Go away. I think Siri is. Open my email. She woke up because her head was on my chest and my heart was beating so hard that she woke up from that. So she woke me up because she's like, "Okay, you're having a nightmare. You're having whatever."
Right.
And she was like, "What? Are you all right?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And I had a dream that I was watching my brother kind of walk around our house, go downstairs, like look around, like gun safe, like trying to, and finally, like he had his own gun, and I was like watching him, and then it was all alluding to he was going to commit suicide, which is like, all right, bad dream, whatever. And the next day, I got a call from my parents that he did commit suicide, and for privacy's sake, I won't go into it, but I pieced together the picture over like the weeks and months, looking into like what happened, and when I was having that dream was the exact time that he was walking around the house. And not only that, he was walking around the house in the exact spots that I had the dream of. So same time, same actual places, kind of like I just saw it almost like if you're like a drone following a person, I saw it from like over his shoulder. same places, same spots. And then it wasn't even just a coincidence. Hey, Joe, I had a dream about you last night. Tommy, I had a dream about you. No, I had a dream about his suicide with an anxiety attack so bad that it woke up my girlfriend. And then it happened the next day. And that's something that I think shook off from like 10-year-old, 0 to 10, I was very Catholic. From like 10 to about 23, it's very atheist. I don't know what I am now, but that's something that definitely shook off my cold, calculated scientific view of the world. And I'm not sure what it is. I do believe in a God. I'm not sure what God that is. But that was something that I was like, what in the fuck was that? Because I'm not like a woo-woo mysticism, like I'm not dead sober.
Here's what I can tell you. I actually had a very similar, so weird. I don't really talk about this, to be honest with you. A handful of people know this, but I'll share it with you because you just shared something very personal. So I lost my mother when I was in high school, 11th grade. So this is, again, I say this, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the same thing. How would you explain this? I was in school. I was in study hall in the library. And I remember I was actually reading a book on World War II. And all of a sudden, the only way I could explain this is I became very like high anxiety, which I never felt before as a kid.
Yeah.
But I felt anxiety that I needed to talk to my mom right then. So I got a hall pass and I walked. Now you got to remember, we didn't have cell phones back then. So I walked out of the office and I said, I need to call home. And the lady said, why? Are you not feeling well? And I said, no, I need to talk to my mom. And they said, why? I said, I just do. And they said, well, we can't just let you call home for no reason. So I went back to study hall, and I remember I was sitting there, and as it kind of like the anxiety got worse and worse and worse and worse, and then, dude, it just went boom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was right around noon, right? Because this later on I started thinking about all this stuff. So on my way, I took a bus home. As I came home, it was this long ass hill that went down to where my father lived. Now my parents were divorced, right? My mom lived with her father, my grandfather, and my dad actually moved in with his mom. They're both their parents were older and just wanted to take care of him, right? I get it. So I remember going down the hill and seeing my grandfather's car, my aunt's car, and after my parents divorced, the two families never got back together. Like, it was a bad thing. I came from an Italian family, and back then nobody got divorced. And I was raised Catholic. Like, oh, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. It was that whole thing, right? Yeah. So anyway, I walk in my dad's house, and everybody was sitting in the kitchen. Very stoic looks on their face, and like, why are all these people here? And my dad said, go upstairs. So I went upstairs, and I was sitting on my bed, and I knew something was wrong, that I didn't like. Again, I was a kid. I didn't really know what it was. But anyway, my father sat down on the edge of the bed. He's like, look, there's no easy way to tell you this. He goes, your mom's dead. And long story short, dude, after it was all said and done, her accident was like at 12:05. She got killed.
What the fuck?
Never happened in all my life, and has not happened since. How do you explain that? Out of the blue. Yeah. Out of the blue, I was literally shaking.
Yeah.
Like anxiety, shaking, like physically shaking.
And that's the thing, is you can't explain this shit to people that it hasn't happened to.
Yeah, and for those that are watching, look, I'm not a Catholic anymore. I'm going to admit it. I'm a Christian man. I have admitted. I believe in God. I'm a Christian. I think that that God has saved me more than a few times from a very bad death, on whether it's that or an angel, whatever you want to call it. But I've been very, very fortunate. But I went to catechism. I went to church every Sunday. I grew up in a very hardcore Italian Catholic family, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Irish,
So
but yeah.
those of you that never experienced that, just trust me, it's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
But it was a fear-based thing. If you steal, you're going to hell. If you lie, you're going to hell. If you masturbate, you're going to hell. If you get divorced, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
And it kind of just got, as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, like, tell me something good.
Yeah, tell me a positive thing. Tell me.
Yeah, and that's why I just kind of like left Catholicism behind. And then, I kind of searched my way around. I went to non-denominational, I went to Baptist, so I consider myself Christian. But to answer your question, Tom, look, there are things, and this is the way I look at it, that we are not meant to know. It was a connection with your sibling, just like with my mom. And Dale has actually experienced the same thing.
Yeah. We talked about that on
Yes,
yeah.
he has. And Dale, no bullshit. Why would I tell a story like that? Like, really? I mean,
Dale's
I'm not going to bullshit somebody about it. Yeah. What the fuck?
Fucking
really?
Dale.
But Dale's told the same story about his parents. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's an energy, the spirit energy. I don't know. We'll know someday, but I think it has to do with some kind of energy. I don't think it's really God saying, hey, you're about to lose your mother or your brother or whatever. I just think it's the energy of the two beings that somehow, those life forces kind of cross.
Yeah.
And the energy your brother was putting out. And when my mother passed, like, I don't know, but it's real. I totally believe it. I've had other people tell me stories very similar to that. I don't believe in coincidences, dude. Why at 12 o'clock? Why? I mean,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. Like, I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid.
Yeah. It's one thing if you have that anxiety attack every day.
Yeah, exactly. Never had it ever, and haven't had it to this day.
One thing if I have that dream every night that never happened, and then it happened at the same. Yeah, the way I look at it is like, I do think that I'm not Catholic. I definitely believe in a power. It's not really something you can argue. It's either you do or you don't, and it's
right.
Agree to disagree. But yeah, with that, what we've had, what Dale had, I had another guy on that told the story. The only thing I can think of is, 93% of the universe is something we don't know. It's a combination of dark energy and dark matter. 93, just like we said, 27% of the voting population. Right. We don't know what 93% of the universe is.
Yeah, that's a lot.
To me, I think that one day it's going to be, imagine if COVID happened in the 1500s. People would think it was like witches. How's everyone getting sick? We can't see it.
Right, it's magic.
Now we're like, oh, it's a microscopic virus. Right. I think one day they're going to look back on this and be like, man, that must have freaked people out. But they find out, it's no different than like a radio frequency or an
exactly
pulse. It's going to be like, oh yeah, there's an electrical field around your body and it connects.
And he was thinking of you or something like, I'm going to miss you. Like, well, exactly.
I think
exactly.
I think it will be broken down into, and I don't think that diminishes the experience, but I do think it will be explained as a science. But to me, that just makes it that much more real. It's like it is a thing.
And you know what, Tom? Let me just tell you something. You talk about religion. It's not something I talk about a lot because, some people just don't want to talk about it. They feel uncomfortable. But I can just tell you this. I don't care what religion somebody is. I look at somebody as, what kind of a person are you?
Yeah, you a good person.
Where's your moral compass? I don't care if you're Catholic, Baptist, Presbyterian, Christian. I look at you for your moral compass. How do you treat me? How do you treat your friends? What do you stand for? Because I got to tell you, I've known plenty of good Catholics and good Christian people that rip me off in business. Okay. Let me tell you. So that's a crock of shit.
Yeah.
I want to know how you are as a person. Don't hide behind a facade of saying I'm this good person when sometimes they're being extremely hypocritical.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I look at just a person's moral compass. If you believe in something, good on you. I don't preach to people. Some people I have in the past, like, you need to find something in your life that gives you some stability when all else fails. You can draw on strength from that. And so, but yeah, man, it's a very unique thing. And I will tell you, I almost put that in my book, like in more detail about that, but I only had so many words and I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole because I could have wrote a whole freaking chapter on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I talk about my mom in my book, how she inspired me. And that was the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even to this day, dude, the loss, like, you know, I'm a grown ass freaking man. If I talk about my mom too much, I'll start crying. Like straight up, that is how bad it affected me. Like it ripped my core out. And just on another note, I'd like to ask you this question because I don't even know the answer, but what do you think is worse? Losing somebody on that, oh, by the way, they're gone, or knowing somebody, hey, they've got a terminal illness and they've got 6 months to live?
Oh, it's the instantaneous. That's anything you can't prepare for is going to be worse.
And I've talked to people about this, and other people like, no, sitting around knowing somebody's going to die. You're like, yeah, but you've got time to talk and have closure and spend time with them and tell them you love them. And like, you know, just like when I lost my friend Mike in that helicopter accident, you know, I love the guy to death, man. Talk to him every day except Sundays.
Wear a jacket.
Dale was there. Yeah, I mean, we were both there at the end. I mean, at the crash site, and you know, the last thing I said to the fucking guy was, "I hope you dressed warm."
Yeah.
You know, I got off the bird, he got on, and poof, 5 minutes later, it crashed. I mean, I personally think that's the worst when you don't have closure. And I'd like to end this podcast on a really good note. And I know, you know, we talk about a lot of things and throw things out there, and you're a type A guy and I'm a type A guy, and we've got our hardcore side. But I would like to say this to who's ever listening. We live in a crazy world. You know, it can be over like that. You know, like the other day I was driving in the rain and an 18-wheeler literally crossed into my path. I had to slam on my brakes and I went off the road in my truck. It that fast. Here's what I'll tell you. If you've got people in your life, whether they're male or female, and you care about them, tell them every day. Because you know what? You may not get that opportunity some morning when you wake up, like yourself or myself. And then what do you do? I'm going to tell you what you do. You carry it around for the rest of your freaking life, like luggage.
The last 7 days I've spent with my brother, I was very upset at him because he was 27, I was 23. I felt he wasn't working towards sort of getting his act back together. And I won't go into detail, that's private. But
Right.
I felt he could have been doing, and me being just gotten into medical school, again, type A, just like, you know, nut up, grab your balls. And to the point where I remember I told him, like, months leading up to it, I was like, hey, man, if you don't start like working harder, I remember telling him, I'm gonna give you the silent treatment. And I remember telling him, I was like, because I need to distance myself from you, because if something eventually bad happens, I was like, I need to protect myself. And finally something snapped like a week before, and it wasn't gonna be a permanent thing, but I was just like, hey man, I was like, get your shit together, and I'm not going to talk to you about it until then. Hopefully me cutting you off, it's because you and I were best friends.
Right.
And for like a week, you know, at first we both kind of clashed for like a day, but then for like the next week, he would come up to me and be like, hey man, do you want to go watch a movie? Hey man, do you want to go shoot? Hey, look at this funny video.
Right.
And I just like wouldn't look up from my book. And in my mind, I was like, I'm giving him tough love and it's going to work. And he was like, hey man, do you want to go watch this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Never made up with him, man. And
you see what I mean, though? That's what I'm saying. For people that are listening,
still,
it's kind of hard to explain. And that's a monkey that you really, you know, you can swap them off your back, but the son of a bitch will jump back on you because you rewind it in your mind. Oh, I wish I should have, would have. And I talk about that in my book, the what ifs.
Yeah.
If you live that what if life, that kind of shit will drive you crazy. But I think, Tom, the thing that you and I can tell people is don't let that happen to you.
Yeah, learn from this.
Don't learn from our mistakes, and yeah, if somebody would have told me, and by the way, Joe, tomorrow at noon, your mom's going to be dead. What I'd have been like, oh my God, like, what would you say to this person? You know, that you got the time to do it now. And there's nothing, I'm going to tell you this too, man. There is nothing unmasculine about telling a friend, a male friend, that you love them. Doesn't mean you're gay.
I tell all my friends I love them.
Exactly. I mean, don't say that. I'm like, really?
Come on, Dale.
Like, really?
Dale's 28 years older than me. I've never met him in my life. Dale's in fucking Delta Force. I'll text Dale. Love you, brother.
Yeah, but dude, you'd be surprised how many guys get kind of weird about that.
Well, you know what? Whatever. I'd rather than be weird.
None.
I'd rather be weird and express my love than ever.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Hey,
read my lips. I'm a heterosexual male. For those of you, okay, I'm not. I don't go the other way. But I do tell people my life male friends I love them. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
I've been working at a liquor store for 3 weeks. I fucking hugged my male coworkers. Just love you, brother, because I don't ever want to experience.
That's actually a side of a guy who's in touch with himself and don't give a shit.
Comfortable with himself.
I don't care. Like, you don't like it, tough shit.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I tell everyone I love him, man.
I appreciate you sharing that story, dude. I can tell it's very, very sensitive. It's a raw spot.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you.
For a long time, dude. I'm 55. I lost my mother when I was in 11th grade.
I thought you were 40.
No, 55.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew Dale was like 56 or 57. I thought
he's a year older than I am.
God damn. Hey, man, that's a testament to working out. You and your fucking no bullshit, dude. I legitimately, I was always like, I'm not. Again, hey man, if you're a girl, I'd be lying through my teeth and be like, I thought you were 20. I legitimately thought you were like 40, 45 tops. God damn, son. God damn, son.
I'll be 56. I'll be 56 in December.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yep.
You're 5 years younger than my dad.
Yep.
What
the point is, it still affects me to this day, you know?
Sure.
And that's okay because I draw strength from it. But I appreciate you sharing that with me, dude. That's
same with you. I appreciate it.
And you know, it takes a real man to talk about stuff like that because it does hurt and you're exposing yourself, but that's how you learn.
Yeah.
And that's how you learn and you grow and you become a better person and learn from your mistakes. Like, you know what? If I could rewind time, I might have done that different. And, you know, same with anything else.
Yeah. I mean, that was 2014. I didn't.
Yeah. That wasn't that long ago, man.
I didn't tell my parents until last summer, August 29th.
Yeah.
I told Dale and I've told you, and now I'm listening to it's right there, man. But to wrap this bitch up, don't learn from what I'm saying. Learn from what Ted Eye is saying in the last sentence of my review. The lone operator, make sure you don't operate alone. Learn from this shit. Don't just if you're gonna stub your toe, at least remember where the rock is. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from your long history and denied units. For anyone listening, if you ever play the video games Black Ops and Black Ops 2, that literally in the beginning of the missions, it says the name that allegedly you may or may not have been a part of. So it's
you always do that to me.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and Annie Jacobson's book, Surprise Kill Vanish, is all about that. And it's all so if anyone wants to know, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know even. I don't even know.
Look at the time, man.
I got it. Look at that. It's America o'clock. Joseph and well, hey, practice what I preach. I love you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Dude, thanks again for the interview, man. It's always a pleasure, Tom. Hey, let me know when you post the one with this guy you're getting on next. I want to watch it
tomorrow. Yeah, and
yes, sir.
Friday is going to be a good one. And
that's going to be really interesting.
You and Dale.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
Yes, sir.
Joseph Ted Eye, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for being a wonderful American and providing safety for dipshits like me to have a podcast.
Thanks, brother.
Stay safe, man.
Love you, man.
Love you too, buddy. Peace.